Assalamu alaikum, sir. Welcome to my recorded presentation. Today's my presentation topic is an overview of the General Clauses Act of 1897. Here is the table of the content of this presentation I am going to discuss about. It will take almost 4 or 5 minutes. I seek your patience, sir. Now, without further delay, let's begin with an introduction. The General Clauses Act of 1897 includes general interpretational guidelines as well as a definition of some nouns. The absence of anything objectionable in the topic or context, this act aims to give broader definitions that should be applied or applied to all the acts and regulations applied in our country, as well as uh, the act which are not mentioned in the provision or act or regulation in Bangladesh. Now let's talk about the historical background of the General Clauses Act. Mainly before 1868, there was no codified General Clauses Act. Before 1868, the interpretational subject matter was followed by the Brotham's Act, also named as Interpretational Act 1815. But in 1868, the General Clauses Act was enacted with just 8 sections, and for the supplementary of this General Clauses Act need more definitions or interpretations. For that, a General Clauses Act of 1887 was enacted. And then in the 4th day of February 1897, the General Clauses Act has been passed by the Governor General of the Council. Then in 11th day of March 1897, the General Clauses Act 1897 has emerged, and the General Clauses Act of 1897 is mainly consolidating the General Clauses Act of 1886, 1868, and the General Clauses Act of 1887. Now let's talk about the objective of the General Clauses Act. The primary objective of the General Clauses Act is to provide some set of rules and principles to interpret the statute of a country. Some specific objective of the Act include uniform interpretation. It means that to ensure uniformity and consistency in the interpretation of statutes across various laws and legal documents. Then clarity and precision. It promotes the clarity between the legal language and establish a standard rules for the interpretation for the construction of laws. Avoiding repetition. This is the most important part of objective of the interpretation of law or General Clauses Act. The avoiding repetition means to avoid unnecessary repetition of provisions in different statutes for providing standard terminology or expression. Adaptability to provide a framework that can be adapted to different statutes and legal context, ensuring its applicability across various laws and regulations. Facilitating legal certainty. To facilitate legal certainty and predictability by laying down clear principles of for the interpretation of statutes, reducing ambiguity and uncertainty in the text of legal text. Applicability of the Act. It divided into two categories: territorial extent and application to the region. It means the General Clauses Act of 1897 has been applied in all over the Bangladesh, and all the rules and regulations that are emerged and applicability to region. This ensures that the principle that rules and laid down in the Act are uniformly applied across all over the country of the Bangladesh and legislation enforced in Bangladesh. Here I mentioned some summary of contents of the General Clauses Act, like definition, territorial references, gender and numbers, singular and plurals, then gender and specific terms, tense, computation of time, and acts by the agent. Let's elaborate this point. Definitions. The Act provided definitions for the certain used in the interpretation of statute. These definitions are applicable unless there is anything repugnant in the subject matter or context. Territorial reference. Territorial reference to territories means district, territories, and etc. shall be constructed reference to territories, district for the time being determined in accordance with the law. Gender and number. The words importing masculine gender also include the feminine gender, and words importing in singular must be included as well as the plural. Tense. The term tense in case of present tense must be or shall be included as future tense as well. Computation of time. Unless otherwise provided, the time shall be computed in accordance with the Gregorian calendar or British calendar. Acts by the agent. Whenever an act is to be done by an authorized person, it may be done by an agent of such person unless otherwise provided. Now let's conclude my presentation with the conclusion. In conclusion, I would like to say it highlights the needs to balance universal principle of contextual considerations and underscores the Act's role in ensuring consistency and coherence in legal systems. These are the sum of general rules of construction provided under the General Clauses Act of 1897. However, it is important to note that specific statutes may have their own interpretation clauses or rules that override the general principles. That's all about my today's presentation. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your patience and thanks for watching. This is Mohammad Sharwar Janmullah, student ID 2029111015, Department of Law, Green University of Bangladesh.